whakalofalaia tu, koao ko te take pomali. My theme for today is knowing my language and identity is important for my future success.
The Niuean language has been described as one of the fastest dying Pacific languages here in New Zealand. Majority of our youth don't speak Niuean. But when we come here to this house, it's like the whispers of our ancestors are in the walls, you know? I remember this space being used for so many different reasons. For 21st birthdays, Christmas parties, we've had language classes here, preschool here, we used to have Zumba class here as well. This house is the one thing that keeps all of us connected physically.
When we think about our efforts, our fight to preserve our Bangaho Niuean, the fact that we have this house, that's a blessing. That's an advantage. This is our greatest asset.
Hakupu is one of the most southern villages in Niue. The full name of our village is Fineone Hakupu.
In the early 60s, some of the members of the village start to migrate to New Zealand. They got together and decided at a meeting to buy a property or a house. It was given to us, it was a gift from heaven through our tupunas. And we are very lucky, the only village from Niue to own a property here in Auckland.
This place became our place where we were able to connect, unite, see one another before going our different ways. This is where the village life for us was.
Yeah, so this is Dryden Street, which is an old street here in Greyland, where I grew up, where all my memories are, and this is my grandparents' house here on the right. That's up for sale. Oh my gosh, it's for sale right now. This is where pretty much everyone grew up. Our house had story and it had life and it had a family. In 2011, we sold the house and we all had to move out and say goodbye. My cousins were the last ones to live here. It was kind of like when my nana died that everything had changed. Yeah, I guess my relationship to Greyland now is pretty much just our house that we have on Ariki Street. So here from the top. My family migrated here in the 70s. My dad was born in Tonga and my mum was born in Niue, but both my parents are of Niuean heritage as well. I'm involved now as one of the leaders. I do lots of work around performing arts and using our language and teaching our younger ones.
Just his energy and his passion to convince us, like, hey, your language is beautiful, go and learn it. Hey, your culture is important, pick it up and embrace it and be proud. Take it with you everywhere in the world, wherever you go. Don't leave it at the doorstep. His love for the village, that was infectious.
Personally, when I was growing up, I didn't want to learn Niuean language. I didn't like being Niuean. I was insecure in my culture and in my identity, and I just had this real resistance to learning the Niuean culture. It's just so hard living in a Pan-Pacific kind of world like Auckland because everything's mishmashed together. We lose the nuances of the Niuean culture. We lose the things that are specific to us as Niuean people. It wasn't until I went to performing arts school and I kind of like unraveled those layers and dealt with some of the trauma from my childhood. I went from not wanting to learn Niuean to now fully embracing being Niuean and learning and loving my language and living in my culture.
Fosi ke polo ma mele. Ini te tuku fosi. Tuku ni ke si polo I lot. Yeah. Go for top chef, go down.
This is a Palani spoon. We never have this spoon back home.
Me, myself and my generation were New Zealand born. So the only time we ever got to hear wangahau Niue was predominantly when we came to this house.
So 95% of all Niue people are based in New Zealand. That's way more than Niue because Niue is very small. Less than 11% can actually speak. So when you consider those stats, it's terrifying, it really is. If we don't do enough to extract as much information or as much of that cultural richness, that content from Derek, from Mereua, right, from those guys, it will die. The language will die, the culture will follow suit, and all those stories, our connection to our tupunas before us, that's going to be dead.
To be honest, a lot of Niuean kids don't want to learn their culture. They go and hide, or they go and they want to be Samoan, or they want to be Tongan, or they want to be Balangi. They turn away from their culture for whatever reason. So we're all brainstorming together, trying to come up with ideas to engage the young people and keep them interested. The way we look at it is like we're in a war. We just need more soldiers to jump in our army to fight for our language to keep it alive. Outside of the Hakupu house, I do a lot of work in the community, but my day-to-day 9-to-5 job is as a school teacher at Marcellin College. I'm one of very few Niuean staff members at my school. It's kind of a sense of responsibility and a duty to serve the Niuean students and families in our school community. So I work a lot with these students and try and mentor them and encourage them to use Niuean language. We are going to ASB Polyfest 2023. Today is the speech comp. Yeah, really excited to see them participate in the speech competition and to see them being proud of their, their mother tongues and their languages.
Like I said, it's been a while since Marcellin has been on the Niuean stage, but we like to encourage our students, no matter how big the group is or how small the group is, come through to the Niuean stage.
Do you guys want to have a little practice over here in the corner? Come, do this. Do you know what will help you? Do a speed run without stopping. Whakalawhala hea toki mo tolosi ko ako America makani hongofulu matolo tataha ko mo I hawa te maanga whakahele ko tongu.
Kise whanau ke takatakai motu haku si mana manatula hei o ke tautalawanga he toma motu haku.
We're going to hear from a student from the school of Marcellin College. His name is Tutaki Pomale. Paspasimai.
Whakalofale atu ki matolosi. Ko ko Tutaki Pomale. Mai e maanga whakahelehele ko lofe toke lau. Whakai maati. My theme for today is knowing about my language and identity is important for my future success.
Hau e tau maanga whakahelehele ko tō nguru tamakotanga mo Fineone Hakupu atua. Koe motu mawhala ne nonofo whiawhia e tau tangata. Mahiwhi ke he wangahau motu, si makaukau ke he tauanga whakamotu. Tō nguru tamakotanga!
I felt really proud to see my students up on stage. It feels rewarding to hear our language being spoken and to see our young people giving it a try because a lot of them don't have the confidence and skill set to just break out and speak Niuean. Now in Central Auckland, there's accessibility issues for our community. So the fact that we get to come here for free and be ourselves is a bonus to all of us.
I know the developer next door, they even talk about selling them half of the property. There's no money in the world that will buy this house, even if the offer is $10, $20 million.
It's kind of nice when we come here and not everyone looks like us on the street. And we take up the whole street, like we park everywhere, we're loud, we sing. So even though it's ratchety and it's run down and, you know, the toilet doesn't work and there's no hot water on that side and there's a missing window, whatever, it's still home for us. You know, we acknowledge we're not the tangata whenua, we don't own land or anything like that, but it's somewhere where we feel comfortable and we feel safe to be Niuean. Yeah, if we ever lost this house, it would be a great loss to our community and to those who fought for this vision. Our former Premier of Niue, the Honourable Young Vivian, he's one of our village elders. We've decided to put this special event on for him to acknowledge him, to celebrate him while he's still alive. And so he's empowered so many of our young people to learn their culture and fight for Niue. And so that's what we're doing. We're showing him like your vision has come to life.
Like I see all their faces up there. They had an idea, they fundraised themselves to put this community house for us. Back then, I used to think, what do you mean for the children in the future? What do you mean? And now I think I've benefited from that vision.
The biggest challenge for my generation is to see whether we will be able to use the next 10 years to revitalise Niuean and extract or learn our culture. How do we communicate the value to New Zealand-born Niueans? Hey, our language is important, our culture is important. But I am hopeful that the likes of Leki, myself, all our cousins, that it is possible.
I just want this house to thrive, to become a hub for all of our future generations, for our New Zealand-born kids to not struggle with their identity and to know that they have a place where they belong and a place where they can call home, and a place for our language and our culture to thrive.